Hello, thank you for joining me once again. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. Today, we are going to be having a little discussion about the proposed price cap on Russian oil coming into effect next month. And I will talk about why I believe this chapter of the economic war against Russia is doomed to fail. I do not believe that the price cap will work simply because countries that may need to have the Russian oil or gas or Russian oil transport to them can see the hypocrisy and the duplicity of I mean the duplicity behind the whole idea of cap on Russian oil. Um, what I kind of find a bit difficult to understand is how the Western world, NATO, G7, United States, EU, seems to, on one hand, discourage investment in new oil fields or new extraction of oil, and at the same time wants to control the price of oil or complain about the fact that OPEC reduced the output. One thing for certain, whenever you have demand and supplies differences whereby there's no balance or if there is shortage of supply, it is a natural law of economics or market that the price goes up. So while the United States President Biden, seems to focus on developing a non-fossil fuel or energy, but we are not yet there. And secondly, while the EU countries also want to move away from dependence on fossil fuel because most suppliers or countries that sell this product are non-EU countries or non-Western countries, mostly Middle East, Africa, and South America, Brazil, and some part of South Asia. It doesn't. You either encourage other people to enter into the market and increase the supply so that the prices goes down, or you have to accept the fact that in view of the fact that there's higher demand, which actually at the moment is not as high as it will be because of the um, less economic activity in China due to the lockdown relating to COVID zero policy. Recently, European countries, EU had an instruction to EU banks and firms such as Total and Shell, just a few of them anyway, not to invest in new oil extraction or development in some African countries, namely Uganda, Congo, and the likes. Uganda wanted to have an oil pipe, so that they can supply some oil which they discover in their country, some deposits or reserves, but are being opposed by United European Unions. Similarly, we have the same issue with Congo. There's a lot of environmentalists that say, okay, this is a bad idea. Whether it's a bad idea or not, I don't know. But these countries will argue that they need the finance, the money, the income from this product, this natural resource they've got to develop their country. In the sense that European countries or many countries had the same opportunity and they developed their country, and now they are trying to force everyone to move from develop is our country. Not many of these countries do not have the financial capability to invest in green energy, and very few people in this country can also even afford to buy electric cars. So for a very long time, to come, many years to come, they will continue to depend on fossil fuel. And also the price cap will not work simply because what will happen is the buyers are trying to form a cartel. Unfortunately, less than half the buyers are interested in being members of this cartel. Very few countries, namely the countries that are involved, are mostly either NATO countries or EU countries. Even within the EU, there are countries that are opposed to price cap on Russian oil. And that explains the reason why, when this cap was being implemented or planned, EU countries that are supply or that buys their oil from Russia, but they are being supplied via the pipeline, were exempted. So, according to some sources, is Japan and China. And now, the U.S. Undersecretary for Treasury or Trade, Wally Adeyemo, stated that, oh, it is for the benefit of the certain countries, the certain part of the world, the majority in the South, Africa and Asia countries. But I beg to differ. They argue that they are doing this so that the Russian oil will continue to be in the market, and EU countries that refuses to buy Russian oil can buy their oil from somewhere else. In other words, they can buy the oil from another market, and the Russian oil can be sold to African countries or Asian countries. But as long as it is under a certain price, that is the cap set by them, then they can continue to use to access they can continue to access EU insurances and shipping containers. But then, according to the Indian Minister for uh, Minister for Oil and Natural Gas, Adip Singh, he argued that it looks like they are trying to sanction India and those countries in the global south, because the new cap does not apply to China, does not apply to Japan, and does not apply to EU countries because they buy their oil via the pipeline, which means they will be allowed to pay more, or the market price or whatever they've agreed with Russia, whereas other countries are not allowed to buy at the market price. You must buy lower. So it now depends on the seller willing to sell to you below the market price, or below the price that it deemed his product is worth. Which, as we all know, the Russian Federation has stated that they will not supply oil to any country that partake in the price in the oil cap, in the oil price cap. So what I sense is like the European Union and United States are taking advantage of the rest of the world, and actually it's a blackmail. If you don't do this, this is what will happen. This war or conflict itself is a failure of diplomacy, and also as a result of the arrogance of the United States and EU. Simply because they fail to negotiate. The only thing they seem to understand is giving instructions. If you don't do what they want, then they fight you, or they go, they trap, sanction you, which is now becoming evident will lead to the fall of dollar as a global currency. Many countries now are reducing their dollar reserves. gradually reducing dollar reserves. And we've also seen an expansion in the number of countries that are willing to join the BRICS. And one of the aims of the BRICS is to find an alternative to the West, to the petrodollar, to the Western dominated financial industry or financial economy in terms of international transactions. It is a direct rebuke and also a direct acknowledgement that the United States is using the dollar to control the world. Technically, what the United States is doing now is no other country, as long as you continue to use the dollar, can actually claim that you have sovereignty. And that is why most countries always don't have their own currency. But by using United States as your international currency, you don't really have full sovereignty. You have independent but without sovereignty because at any time you could be cut off. The state could decide, okay, we no longer allow you to use this currency. So it's a shame, really. But at the same time, maybe it's a good thing because it means more and more, less and less, more and more countries will be moving away from the dollar as a currency for international trading and for alternative currency to trade. We also see why U.S. countries, United States United States want to sell its gas to Europe at the market rate. In fact, 4 times the amount that was being purchased from Russia. They want to maximize their own income. Even within the United States itself, petrol companies are selling their petrol at the market price, but they do not want other countries to sell it at market price. And even Norway, that is more or less to some extent member of, not a full member of EU, but follow the EU market system, is against price cap on gas. So is Qatar, and so is the OPEC countries against price cap on oil. Just to round up, basically, my argument is this: without the support of China, India, and many of the countries in the global south, the cap on Russian oil is doomed to fail. It will be as ineffective as a cap on or as other sanctions that was placed in this economic war against Russia, which so far has proven quite ineffective. Or, as someone said, it's like an addiction in which almost every country, not just almost, is dependent on or is addicted to. No country can survive without oil or energy. So, if somebody doesn't buy it, another people will buy. It is very difficult for them, the buyers, European Union buyers and NATO buyers of this product to try and set the price because the other countries, there are so many countries in the world. Out of about 190 countries, you have about 140 countries that is not part of this oil price cap and they need this product. So as a result of this, the cap on Russian oil will fail and it will fail awfully. Thank you very much. Stay calm. Don't forget, like the channel and keep on looking for the truth because truth will set you free.